Does anyone know the charity for new brain cells? Okay, maybe I'm a little too hard on myself, but truthfully, I really have to do this video, mostly because I can't overlook it anymore. Now, anyone who's been following me for quite some time already know that I did two videos on Star Giant Productions, or Rebecca Starlight, because as we all know, SGP is a dead name, you hear me? Oh, blow me. Anyways, today we're going to be talking about Star Giant Productions once again. You already know that I talked about her before, though. In case you guys remember, I did two videos on her on my take on, which is the list that I don't do anymore, and as well as the reaction video from Be Better Today Than Yesterday. However, one video that kept coming to my mind is, oh fuck, would have to be the video that I'm going to be talking about today. And that video happens to be her campaign idea. Yeah. Originally, I wanted to do a video on her with, say, for example, her addressing my abuse video, but there are a few reasons why I'm not doing that video. The first is that it's so goddamn long with her 3 hour tantrum. And honestly, I really can't help but think what would happen if I did do that video. I think I'll lose all of my brain cells by then, though. And the second, my storage can't really run that much, though, so I'm pretty much gonna have to go with the video that I decided to go with, the witch's campaign idea. You guys are probably asking yourself the big question: why am I doing this? Why am I talking about Star Giant Productions again? And anyways, didn't she flee from the internet? Well, there's a reason why I wanted to do this campaign video just to rip it to shreds. It's bad, everybody. Really bad. And if you don't believe me now, you're just about to find out. So let's get this shit on the road. God help me.
Last week, I posted a video about the campaign that I am doing. Since posting, people have come up to me on questions about the project, which makes sense since something seemed confusing, not to mention that this is my first time ever doing a campaign on the internet all by myself.
Well, maybe it's because you keep overworking people and underpaying people, or maybe to no credit. But hey, let's see what you have in store. I'm sure it's gonna be a swell idea.
I'm going to take the time with this video to answer most people's questions. We'll play the game 20 questions.
Ooh, 20 questions. I love that game. But not from you, that's for sure.
I answer the questions I get in general, such as, what is Witches, the Star Giant Productions campaign? Witches, the Star Giant Productions campaign is a campaign for the Star Giant Productions channel, aka my channel, to add new characters to various videos in my video series. These are 5 new original characters meant to each tell a story. 6 if you want to count the incubator.
Okay, so at least we know now what the campaign stands for, but even with that said, however, you know what? I'm just gonna wait until we get a little further because there is a lot to comment on this damn witch's head.
What is the money that you're going to make even going into? I made a pie chart right here that showcases the money. $8,000 is going into the editing. That is what is required for most of this project. $5,000 for animation. $3,000 for everything art-wise, including characters and background art. $2,000 for any character voices. And miscellaneous is everything else for the project, like music. Plus additional money for any category above in case any section needs more money. Despite this, for animation, there's going to be a lot more editing than animation. That's why the editing number is higher than the animation.
Okay, so few things. First, just because you want 20% of your animation and 32% of your editing. Okay, I'm no animation expert, so I don't know what happens in the animation industry despite watching these documentaries about how animation is worked on behind the scenes. But Jesus Christ, 28% of miscellaneous voice acting has only 8%. artists have 12% animation, 20%, and 32% of editing. Maybe I'm not reading too much into this that much though, but yeah, this project, I'm not even close to a full 2 minutes in, and I'm already starting to panic over my mind. Then again, coming from Rebecca, I wouldn't be surprised either way. Also, saying that the editing is more important than the animation, yeah, because when I think of something that's animated, I just say that editing is way more important than that. Now, granted, I know editing is not an easy task. I mean, my editing is really full of shit though, and I'm still getting used to doing this video thing, but still, 20% of the animation, really? I'm not even close to rambling, and yeah. Does anyone know what charity there is that sells more brain cells, guys? No? Let me know if you know, please.
Who are the characters? The characters that you see here will be the stars of my series. All of them are ages 26 to 28 at present, though in different stories they could be younger or older. Anna Presso, the main character, is a cutesy, innocent, happy woman. She loves to be wacky, silly, and doesn't believe in ice cream freezes your brain if you eat too fast. She's not exactly the brightest one out there, but don't tell her that. That's not really nice.
Yeah, because I'm sure that's coming from you who doesn't want anyone to say something blunt or obvious. And wait a minute. This character looks just like Sally from John's series of Growing Around. But then again, knowing how you take inspiration, I wouldn't be surprised though. Yeah, I'll get to that in my final thoughts. So be my guest if you want to draw your conclusions there, people.
Ophelia is a shy woman. She hides her hair behind one eye, doesn't speak up much, that kind of shyness. After Anna Prisso saved her life one day, she fell in love with her. In fact, Anna Prisso was the one that taught Ophelia on how to be a magical girl. Mr.
Wait a minute. So they fell in love and teach each other how to be a magical girl? Way to rush an arc! I mean, seriously though, I'm not sure if it's just me, but does anyone feel like that arc would be rushed? Because as someone who's writing story arcs for my writings, I feel like that writing would be too rushed though. Like, what are you gonna do? Just have 3 episodes, they get to know each other, and then boom, like that? I know some people are gonna say Rebecca is not a fan of the Owl House or anything like that, but even with me going on and on about how the Owl House, despite getting screwed over by Disney, thank you, Disney, and I think it's safe to say that their arcs are a hell of a lot more well paced than Rebecca and you know what? I'm just gonna say this right here and now. Whether you find that arc rushed or not, though, I don't think it was justifiable about what's going on, though. Plus, that character design. Wait, Maddie, if you're watching this, please tell me I'm probably going cuckoo or something, because otherwise, yeah, that design. I'm sure that you didn't rip it off from Maddie, though. Okay, let's put this on perspective, though. Are you sure you're not taking any of these here? Sorry, my throat gets sore when I say this word again. Inspiration when it comes to having character designs. Seriously, I really need to bang my head in the wall. Maybe I'll feel better then.
Kana is the leader of the group. Being a magical girl for the longest makes her in charge, and she's the most powerful of them all.
So, what? You're just gonna say that she's leader of the magical girl without any of that? Well, what kind of leader? No, seriously, what kind of leader? There's all kinds of leaders out there. Is she the one who's the rebellious leader? Is she trying to say she's the smartest leader? Is she trying to say that she's the one leader who, while she is in charge, obviously, that's what leaders do. Like, what kind of leader is she? You can't just say she's a leader and just stick with it for crying out loud. I mean, hell, you don't have to be a perfect leader. I mean, let's be honest, though. There's no such thing as a perfect leader. But even and so, though, you can still be more specific than that.
Calantha is a mystery solver. She loves hearing about super phenomena, and ghosts interest her.
Oh.
She also loves hearing about magical creatures or fictional creatures, like, say, a griffin. Frasier
So she's a fantasy nerd? I'm only asking because I genuinely don't know. Also, you're making pretty much a huge risk on saying things like, "Oh, she's gonna do all." She's really just a fantasy type thing. No, look, fantasy is probably my second favorite genre, or maybe dark fantasy. But do I even need to tell you that her character is okay? I'm not gonna lie. Probably gonna flack for saying this, but it needs to be addressed. Her character seems bland, along with everyone else here, though.
That is a sporty girl. She loves to yell and be edgy per se. She's the rebel of the group, the one who loves danger. She'll state she's gonna jump off a cliff, but really she's just being edgy. She'll know more about sports than any of the other girls combined.
So she's also a tomboy, and she's being edgy. Also, what's with her eyes? I feel like she's gonna rip my soul out. Actually, can you please do that for me? I think it would save me a bunch more time with this video rather than sucking my freaking flamingo bill up that screen. I'm sorry, guys, but really, I have so much to talk about yet.
And lastly, for now, Corbin. You saw him at the end of the Toy Story 4 Pixar path.
No, I
He's a
didn't.
cat-like creature called an incubator. He grants girls wishes.
Wait a minute. So, this creature grants girls wishes. Hmm. I have to say here, I thought I was going to say something about this favorite anime you were going to bring up, but I'll have to wait until later, though. Hmm. Then again, knowing about how this actually happens, though, I wouldn't be surprised either way.
Can you tell me spoilers? Sure, but if you don't want to hear spoilers, skip to this specific timestamp right here. Like, I know you can't click it on the actual video, but go to that in the actual video if you don't want to hear spoilers.
I'm just going to tell you guys right here and now. I'm not going to skip ahead because I think we're going to have to do what I think of this here video. Just react to the entire thing. And trust me, if I get a headache after this video, again, find me some brain cells because there is a lot to unpack here. For something that's called spoilers, yeah, I'm not going to skip to that part. Obviously, I don't know when I'll be doing this is when I'll never be doing this video again. So, I'm just going to just spoil it for you because there's nothing new about it. So, there you have it. And it's also pretty risky to say this though, but yeah, let's just move on.
Alright? You skipped that part? You didn't? Okay, you want to hear the spoilers, so let's talk about spoilers. For right now, I don't have much to go on for Anna Purcell. She's supposed to be the object or love interest for Ophelia. I do plan on these two getting married in a future episode.
Okay, yes, you can make two girls fall in love and everything, no, but seriously, this love story. Okay, if my mother was here to watch me do this video, she would definitely know that love stories just don't come out of thin air like that. Seriously, my mother be watching this and say, "You do realize that love interests don't just come like that. Sure, there are some times where the characters will fall in love easily, but have them a bit of more leeway. Like not too much, but maybe a few misunderstandings, a bit that gets off the back or something like that." I don't know. Maybe I'm reading too much into it, but if you're gonna just say they're love stories like that, then I'm probably gonna drop out after that. I mean, I'm a romance fan myself, and even I'll admit, if you're gonna have two characters fall in love, don't rush it. I'm sorry. Don't rush it and don't slow it too slow. Like it shouldn't be too much of the main focus. You can still have romance in it, just don't make it too much to the point where people are going to find it drawn out or rushed. It's best to have it nicely paced. But then again, I'm talking about of which who doesn't know anything about stories. Hey,
As for Ophelia, back when all these girls were in high school, one night, Anna Purcell was still demonstrating how to hunt witch. When the powerful witch ended up killing Anna Purcell right in front of Ophelia's eyes, distraught, she starts crying over the loss of her new friend. She runs away from the witch before the witch can kill her. While in hiding, Corbin talks to Ophelia about making a wish. He gaslights her into one by saying, I mean, if you're fine with your new friend being dead, that's your call, not mine. He also tried to state, in your current state, even if you brought her to life, she'll just die again like you. If only there was a way to stop this.
if only there was a way to stop myself from pausing and just say, Can I take some eggnog after this? I mean, I probably wouldn't be so much on a rampage after that, but still. We're not even done with the video, and I'm already feeling like I'm already slurring my words despite not drinking eggnog. Oh boy.
This makes Ophelia have a realization that she doesn't want Anna Purcell to ever die, and thus she not only wishes her back to life, but to make her immortal. She also made herself immortal. That way they can be alive together forever. At the start for the next couple of weeks, things look good. That is until Ophelia's mom passes away. I'm not sure the reason for death yet. There are multiple possibilities, but nothing is set in stone yet.
Yeah, because you didn't think your way through with it, though. Plus, I know that when it comes to storytelling, you have to take your time to at least understand where the characters can go from there. Take it from someone who knows, guys. Don't look at me like that. You're talking to a writer. Not a witch writer, seriously, a flamingo writer. But yeah, I'm going off script. I just feel like this is borderline saying that you have plans for it, but you don't seem to understand how to put it or press feed on it though. Like if you're gonna tell a story, at least when you have spoilers, you can at least just spoil them free, or you could just do the obvious and not spoil it and write it the frick down. Talking to someone who's been writing for about what since childhood, and I had to take steps on how to write stuff. It's not easy being a writer, I know, but I'm just saying it take more than two brain cells to understand that.
This unfortunately makes Ophelia come to the realization that because herself and Anna Purcell can't die, they will never be able to see any of their family again once they pass, or even their friends. Worse still is that Ophelia's wish can't be undone. You've heard the saying before, be careful what you wish for.
Yeah, be careful what you wish for. And I should have be careful what I was wishing for when doing this video. I couldn't overlook this video anymore, so if you're wondering why I'm pausing so many times, though, there's your reason. It's because there is so much to unpack every time Rebecca has something to say, and here I'm going, I wish I had my life back. I really do. Then again, if I were in Dark Flamingo form, I wouldn't have this kind of issue. Yeah.
So, what Ophelia needs to do is undo a wish. Anna Purcell, for the record, has no idea that she can't die. Ophelia never had the courage to tell her this, because she's afraid that if the truth comes out, then Anna Purcell won't be her friend anymore. Anna Purcell eventually learns the truth about the situation, and she forgives Ophelia for it. After that, they'll get married.
So you'll just forgive them right away without having some kind of way to at least build some tension. Maybe I'm just reading too much into it though, but I think it would be best to show a little tension saying, "How could you do this?" or something like that. Yeah, some people could say it's out of character or something, but at least it'll give them a little more suspense. But just saying the two will get married like that, again, build up the relationship, build up the romance. Don't make it too fast, don't make it too slow. Just make it nice and balanced.
And as for after that, I'm still working on the process. It's possible they're gonna adopt a child,
Could you imagine them adopting a child? Oh, I wish I was a child again.
though. Miss Takana is the main villain of the group, but she's a gaslighting villain. Everyone thinks that she's a good person, but over time, she does manipulate them more and more. Some at other point. At the age of 20, I had my character turn into a witch, and Miss Takana was the one to notice me turn into a witch, and then she tries to kill me. Spoilers, I live, lol.
Oh, hooray! Let's give a round of applause. A round of applause, people. Yeah, because if anything, this is basically you in a Mary Sue stage. I hate this Mary Sue thing. Maybe I'm not a little too much on this, but making characters your Mary Sue, especially when you self-insert yourself, is not a good idea. If you make yourself a Mary Sue or Gary Stew, then chances are you're going to make your character really blander than a piece of wood or anything. That's how bad it is. Like seriously though, I had to go through rewrites when I heard my characters don't have enough go with that. But let's get this out of the way. Writing tips here, people. Writing tips. So write this down if you want to know how to write a character. Sorry, my throat is dry. If you're gonna make a character that takes, well, inspiration or anything that you want to have, at least make the character not over flawed because you don't want to overshadow their flaws to make their character. But if you make them a few flaws to balance out their good qualities, then you have a good character here to go with, though. You can still have traits that make them stand out more to make them relatable if you want to. But if you make them this perfect, like so goddamn perfect, then I highly doubt anyone's gonna think otherwise, though. I mean, seriously, I'm getting Bella Swan deja vu. Thanks for that again. You need to stop making these characters think of other characters that I think of the top of my head. I'm still thinking of what this anime reminds me of, though. Can any of you tell? Yeah, I'm still waiting for an answer. But don't worry, guys. Don't worry. I'm still thinking of what it's called, though.
Her ideology is the type of people in real life that I generally hate. Backwards thinking, homophobic, doesn't give a shit about sexes, stuff like that. And she blackmails everyone in her group to love her. And if anyone steps out of line, she'll kill them. She is way more powerful than the other four.
Let's see. She blackmails people, she does that, and she does other stuff that reminds me of some other character. Wait a minute. Rebecca, are you sure that we don't think that the whatever the leader's name is, I don't care what her name is, I can't do so because my brain cells just melted. Are we sure she's not based on you yourself, considering you blackmail a lot of people or do anything like that? Now, granted, killing is way farther than that, though. But are we sure that she's not really anywhere like your side of that, even due to how much your record is so far? I don't know. I guess I'm rambling a bunch of shit, which is pretty obvious considering how much my brain loves to melt into mush now.
Calantha is going to be the first character that they meet, and she'll gain suspicion of me being a witch. She'll also be the one to establish that I was supposed to be dead. Only Ophelia knows of me being a witch and still alive, because there's a point in time that Ophelia and I faked my death, but that's a story for another day. The other
Story for another day. Again, if this is supposed to be spoilers, then you're just thinking of stuff and not coming up with it, or you're just coming up with stuff that's just not executed pretty well.
other four magical girls and Corbin will think that I'm dead. And finally, Frasier. You might notice that she's a cyborg, as she has some parts that are of a robot.
Oh, really? I didn't know she was a robot. I thought those were just long ass gloves or something like that. Seriously, I've seen better metal designs since those cheap ass movies, and at least they look shiny. Here, though, they just look like what? No, nope, no. I'm just gonna. I'm not gonna hold this back anymore. I can't put my head underwater any longer. This flamingo's head needs to come out. Are they really any metal parts? Because as far as I can tell, look at these metal parts on both her heel legs and also her arms and hands. Maybe I'm being a bit keen-eyed because I can't understand if it's just me. I mean, hell, I'm a shitty artist myself, and that metal design on her arms and legs just don't look all that appealing. Then again, they are PNGs for the record. Oh fuck!
This wasn't some intentional decision. In the past, her mother was a magical girl. She turned into a witch shortly after she gave birth to Frasier. When you become a witch, you do evil, unspeakable things. She was promised by the show's version of Satan himself, being named Yin, that if she killed her own daughter, she would be given better rewards. She was able to successfully cut off all of her limbs, but Frasier's dad was able to protect her from Frasier's now evil mother.
Cutting off her limbs, huh? As much as I don't really care for Elfen Lied, and honestly, I'm not a fan of that anime to begin with. Why do I get the feeling I should be watching that over this? Then again, you're talking to someone who doesn't like blood or gore or anything like that. Ugh.
A deal was made that Frasier would take the dad's life instead of Frasier as long as Frasier could live. And what happened is that the dad accepted and fused with the mom, presumably becoming dead. A family will find her shortly afterwards in the field by herself. They adopted her right then and there and made her those body parts since the parents were a scientist and the other a mechanic.
So, So she's basically a gynoid, a cyborg, or something like that. I'm probably reading too much into it, but while I admit that is pretty clever, it's the execution I have a problem with, though. Because let's be frank here, though. I'll be frank for a second. I personally think you can still do a lot with the cyborg or gynoid or thing, whatever. Though I mean, hell, I watch a lot of stuff with that, but her character just seems like my brain is melting out of my ears at this point. Yes, flamingos have ears. Shut up.
Is this an animated series? Let me try to be clearer on this since there is confusion. Animation is a loose definition. Animation, a series of images, each slightly different from the last, shown in sequence. This can be interpreted in multiple ways. When my characters move side to side, it can be called animation. That lip movement that I did in my animation review on Summer Job is animation. The style of animation is something like Joe Apocalypse Epithet Erase or Fob Equestria as a whole, where it is animation, but not the full kind that you see like in Hazman Hotel. This is a limited animation series. That's kind of why there's more money for the editing as opposed to the animation, because there's going to be a lot more editing than animation.
So it's just a basic PNG movie, just with just with them going move side to side. I'm no animator, and I find that pretty insulting. Like, you mean and to tell me, Rebecca, that you'd rather have these here characters move side to side? That's not animation. That's not animation in the slightest. Hell, as somebody who has watched animation for a long time, you should know better than just to say they move side to side. That is so damn lazy. It's even more insulting to animators out there or better artists I can mention, which I'm not going to mention because I think you guys could at least prepare your brain cells while I try to get rid of my old ones. So, in other words, you can definitely tell that this is just lazy, cheap, and so much others. So, wait a minute. I think I'm beginning to remember now. Let's see. There are five girls. They all become magical girls, and they fight off witches. Not because they are witches, but they are called that. And there's a magical creature who grants only girls wishes. And so far, these years just go so far as to fight evil ensues, though. Yeah, if you haven't connected the dots about this point, though, this isn't just some lame ass cheap show about magical girl shows in general. It's Madoka Magica if it was much, much, much lazier. Why would anyone want to think this was a good idea is beyond me, but Rebecca, being Rebecca, for some asinine reason, thinks that this is a good idea, should already know this from the start. This is never going to work. Plus, I think now I go the idea why she's saying she doesn't want to do animation for the most part, though. So yeah, making an animated series just with PNGs, just to say, oh, there's more editing than there is to animation, because I'm pretty sure, again, animation requires more editing than animation. Look, I'm not an animation expert, so maybe I'm reading too much into it, though. But even as someone who's been watching animation for God knows how long, though, this is just lazy and also very insulting. I'm pretty sure all the artists in my hey, hey, own channel or that watch my channel or not my channel. I'm sure the artists whoever do art, not me. My art looks like shit, but some people somehow like it. I don't know why though. My writing's fucking masterpiece compared to that. But yeah, I'm sure every artist in the audience is probably groaning or gritting their teeth right now, saying that yeah, this is more like it though. Even if you aren't an animator and you're still an artist, you have to at least try to find this insulting. I'm just saying there's probably a reason why I myself, who's not an artist, I can still critique it and say this is really cheap ass and everything. No, I may not be an artist. I'm more of a writer than anything. So if ever anyone ever wants to say that you shouldn't really brag about your writing, well, let this be a lesson to you and say my writing is a fucking masterpiece compared to what Rebecca has here. Okay, I think I said what I need to say for now. Let's just get on with this shit.
How do the characters interact with each other, as in my own characters? The way that the characters interact is going to be different per character. They're adults that have their own lives, but they do come together when a powerful witch is in the area trying to hurt innocent people. In terms of context via the show, you'll be talking to my friends, kind of like what my friends already do in my own videos. Are there
Wait a minute. You really had to get the question by asking about how the characters interact with each other? Okay, but I thought at first you were gonna say how these characters are going to be motivated, but how they interact with each other? Gee, I don't know. Maybe they're gonna interact like they do in High Guardian Spice. Though then, let me just say this for the record: if anyone who knows Rebecca and her incoherent sentence speech pattern, which I know she can't help her with her speech impediment, that I can understand because some people can't and to really do anything with that. But I don't know if I'm being a little paranoia when I say this though, but just saying how the characters interact with each other just sounds like a dumbass question in general. Hey, how do the characters interact with each other? Like how to go into space? No, they're gonna act like a pro wrestler. No, they're gonna act like Loud House. No, they're gonna act like. Get my point. What I'm saying here is that this is a dumb ass question. No one should ever ask this question. Wait a minute. Wait a damn minute. I asked this to one of my friends on the previous chilling stream, and it needs to be asked again. Rebecca, are you sure you're not asking these questions yourself? Because a lot of these questions just seem like somebody with two who brain cells or less could ask these questions. Think about this. These questions are either cheap or lazy, or they just it never gets well thought out though. And look, I get to really weird questions from time to time. Newsflash, I don't really care. But even with that said, at least they ask the questions. Though, as for the next question, are there
scripts written yet of these stories that you have planned? Every single script in progress is in the description of this video. Keep in mind, these aren't finished yet, nor is every story yet, and there will be way more scripts to come. Why does your main
so in other words, they're just fanfics. Yeah, for those who are wondering, while Rebecca's channel is no longer around because coward, this is one point where I can't really see the scripts for myself to see how bad they are. And don't tell me that they aren't bad. You have to be a defending Rebecca after all of that shit that she's been doing all this time, though. After the take on, after my reaction video, and yes, this is another reaction video. I just thought I'd say that right there. This is just this is just not something I want to talk about in detail, though. Plus, even if we ignore that, though, just saying about how many scripts are in there and all that other stuff, let's be frank here again. If this was written as an actual transcript, which let me tell you this, I write transcripts for myself on my stories. I'll probably do it on a live stream to show you guys what I mean, but there's a reason why I don't do those a lot though for my people to understand though. And also the fanfics, spoiler alert, they're prizes.
character want to prove that witches are good? In life, people are bullied because of stereotypes, like being of a certain height or weight, or more offensively, sadly, race, religion, and disability. In this world, witches innocent people to suicide. A way to defeat witches, according to the general public of this world, not magical girls, is to insult those that are witches. Witches are usually
So I don't know if it's just me. I don't know if it's just me, Rebecca, but let's get this out of the way first. First, while I admit, yes, witches are kind of misunderstood from time to time, there are times when you can still make a witch be good. I mean, I'm not really sure if she was a fan of the Owl House or any other shows that involve witches. Okay, let's get this out of the way. I am a Magical Girl fan. I've seen witches done a lot more than say Madoka Magica. I've seen them done in so many different ways from so many shows that you can name at the top of your head. Plus, when it gets right down to it, take it from someone who knows that you can still make a witch your own by reinventing itself. Maybe you can create some new aspects here and there, maybe, but I'm just saying there's probably a reason why in the magical girl genre you can pretty much reinvent them in your own way. I mean, if you don't believe me, look at my podcast. I've talked about a bunch of magical girl shows where they have witches and they make them in very creative ways that make them stand out. Plus, with a fresh coat of paint on it, they can do so much more than just what it is, though. Take, say, for example, Sugar Sugar Rune, or maybe some other stuff that come their ways, though. Like, say, what else is there? Ojama Mojo Doremi, or maybe something on the lines of, say, Akazuka and Cha-Cha. All of those have one thing in common. They have witches as well, though. Or how about say Little Witch Academia? Now, I will say, yes, while magical girl shows in witches has have existed since Sally the Witch. Believe it or not, it was actually inspiration from the U.S. Sitcom show Bewitched. So yeah, if it wasn't for Bewitched, whether you like the show or not or never heard of it, we have to give some respect to actually give credit where Sally the Witch came from and what Magical Girls came got into though. Yeah, some people could say Sailor Moon is what broke the trend. Yes, it did. But I'm just saying though, if it wasn't for the likes of how many witch shows you can think of at the top of your head, you can still make these your magical girl shows your own though. I'm just telling you if you ever need advice though. Jeez, the more I go into magical girl expertise on what you can do to write your own magical girl, the more I feel like some people are going to ask me if I'm giving advice or not. Well, whether you find my advice helpful or not is pretty subjective. Though I can't help but think what happens if I did give too much advice away, though. I guess it's because how much of a magical girl fan I am, so take that for what it's worth, I guess.
Creatures that magical girls can only see. How does a non-magical person tell if someone's a witch? Witches are secretive creatures that don't tell people that they are witches. But, Rebecca in the story doesn't know that. She knew that people view witches as bad, but instead of shutting up about and staying secret about it, she decided in the beginning to state that she is a witch. Are there
Maybe telling Rebecca to shut up. Telling Rebecca to shut up is like telling a little kid to stop throwing a tantrum at the candy store when they want candy. It's not that easy. Oh my god. I'm sorry. I really am. Like, okay, let's get this out of the way. So, you say that you should shut up about it. And wait, let's go back to it. What did she say?
but instead of shutting up about and staying secret about it, she decided in the beginning to state that she is a witch.
So she decides to shut up about it after she states that she's a witch. Am I the only one that feels like that went a bit backwards? Couldn't you at least show some foreshadowing? Like, at least give some buildup or something like that? Oh, wait, I forgot. Foreshadowing is not in vocabulary skills of Rebecca Starlight. Never mind. And to put this in perspective, though, I think that foreshadowing would be a good way of getting your story out there to see what's it like. But you're talking to someone who's still currently writing a story about not witches, but about how it builds something up slowly, but still. Although you can still do so. Wait, how much time do I have on here? 17. When will it end? My brain cells are already melting faster than they are.
Are there multiple types of witches? A witch in this universe is a creature only visible to magical girls. There is a reason why Rebecca is the exception to this rule. I have a reason, but I'm gonna wait a bit to explain the full reason once certain other characters down the line are introduced.
Yeah, because it's not like you can't really tell anybody what these witches are, though. And honestly, I think that would have been a nice concept. Show them if there's any different magical girl, like any other not magical girl, any other types of witches. But saying that there's different types of witches is like saying we're just gonna do the good and the bad, and that's it. No mediocrity, no average, no imperfection, just the good and bad. Honestly, maybe if it was me writing this, I would definitely like to see myself writing about what kind of types there are, though. I always like to see different types of species, even if they do have something with them. But it would require a whole lot more than just say they're just that. And let's be honest here, even if Rebecca did go through with the story, what's the point, anyways? She wouldn't even get past it by one script, and done. Or she isn't done and she just thought it could be longer than it is, though. Giving Records track record, I wouldn't judge it either way.
How many episodes will this project be? In terms of original movies per se, 6. Most of the videos that these women will be a part of are just my regular reviews, and my goal is to make a total of 500 videos for my channel. Currently, I'm at 250 videos, so I'm halfway done.
Dude.
In terms of the stories that they're gonna be part of, well, they are mainstays for my channel. Think of a series that adds new characters down the line. I'm doing something like that. Think like SMG4 with characters such as Maggie or Melanie. What tone are you going for?
Dude. Dude. I'm gonna say this. I'm just gonna say this if I really have to say this because I I obviously think we need to stress this enough. So do 500 videos, and then there was 250 videos. If Rebecca's channel was still up, which is a hot take from my end, if I see this though, but let's just say this though. If you ever did do 500 videos, what was the point of that anyways though? Your views were only in the hundreds range. Now granted, my videos don't get that many views mostly because I'm not asking for much from my channel. But even with that on my mind, though, I think it's safe to say you could be self-botting yourself, and even if you did have 250 videos before you deleted your entire channel, did any of those videos feel like they were going to be up anyways? Because rumor has it, Rebecca, that you were constantly deleting your footprints. And honestly, when big channels get their videos deleted, or in this case, get they delete their videos, it's likely going to be archived. I mean, I hope my videos don't get archived or anything like that, because let's be honest, my videos are shit compared to the big ones out there. Though I'm not trying to be down on myself though, but come on, guys, my videos are just as good as say a toddler wanting to make a video despite it's not having many skills on it. So that's the nice way to put it.
For genre-rise dramedy.
Wait,
SMG4 with characters such as Maggie or Melanie. What tone are you going for? Genre-rise dramedy. That's basically half drama, half comedy. Kind of like Family Guy or the TED TV series. Magical Girl is also a given.
okay, Magical Girl, I can definitely see in that though, but saying that comedy when it comes to Family Guy or Ted, like dramedy or drama comedy. Okay, maybe our speech impediment is getting to me though, but I'm just I'm saying no. They're not really dramedies per se. They're more like dark comedies. Up there with say American Dad or Family Guy or Ted or whatever though. Those are dark comedies, and dark comedies are not dramedies. You can still have drama in your comedy if you want to though. And while I can't really say how to write it because I'm still in the process of learning how to write stories and all that stuff, what was I gonna say here? Even if I was still writing it though, I'm I'm rambling. um, because I'm just gonna say this right here and now. This is really stupid. Like, you really think that they're dramedies, Ted and Family Guy? Because I've seen both things, and I know that they're more like dark comedies. That's not the same thing as dramedy. Magical Girl, however, yeah, I could definitely see that though, but I highly doubt it would be executed pretty well. Up there with High Guardian Spice. And at least with High Guardian Spice, and I'm probably gonna get killed if I say this, but it needs to be addressed though. At least when High Guardian Spice tried to do something thing that goes with their flow, at least they tried. It didn't do very well, sure, but at least they tried something, even if it was executed awfully though. But this makes High Guardian Spice look like Shakespeare by comparison.
Are these characters fictional? Yes, and they're not based on anyone in real life. I'm not gonna pull a Miraculous Ladybug Season 5 piece of shit here and basically bully from my real life school days into a fictional character that I couldn't let myself go of. With the exception of Ryan, since he's based on my real self, everyone here is made up. No name is based on a real person, and the scenarios aren't based on real events.
Self service alert. Beep, beep, beep. Self service alert. Self service alert. Did I say self-servicery? Why, yes, I did, people. And here's why. Just saying that you're not gonna put anyone in this year's story because they're not based on real life characters like Miraculous Ladybug or anything like that. Okay, I'm gonna say this for the record. Yes, there is a thing called self-insert characters where creators will self-insert their own characters into their own story, or in this case, no, not self-insert themselves into a story. That's something I will say. It's nothing new. It's something I've seen done a million times before now. And let me tell you this though, there's nothing wrong with self-inserting yourself. But the problem with I have here is that sometimes they do make them imperfect, but a lot of times from what I've seen so far, they always make them perfect though. I'm not saying that you can't make your character inside your own story or anything like that, but if you surface yourself into your own story and just go ahead and say that there is no self insert or there's no real life anything like that. Rebecca, you just admitted that there's no characters based on anyone real life, but you're self inserting yourself in there though. Seriously, is my brain really melting? Oh, I think I see it on the floor now. It was just on the table, now it's on the floor. Someone needs to clean that up.
Is your project based on other existing IP? This is an original series not based on any real life IP. It is, however, based on different IPs as a whole. No project exists with 100% original whole cloth. Everything in life technically borrows from another source. You just don't want to steal too much, otherwise it'd be plagiarism.
Plagiarism, people. Get that? It's plagiarism if she copies everything, no. It's plagiarism. Do I even need to say it again? Okay. Again. Say it with me, everybody. Say it with me. If you have to know the difference between plagiarism and inspiration. I said this so many times on my channel. I'm surprised my voice didn't give out or I need new tonsils at this point. Like, are you really saying to me you don't want to plagiarize? But then again, I want you all to remember this. Key point. Remember this.
For this series in general, it's gonna have partial elements from products that I like. It is usually like that in my writing. Everything television-wise, like My Little Pony, Steven Universe, SpongeBob, Amphibia Family Guy, and a lot more shows and movies. The show that is most similar is going to be Monica Magica. You probably know some similar concepts as in Magical Girls and Witches. A concept or idea can legally be used by other people, provided that you don't use their names or characters that look like them. It's why you can do your own versions of Snow White as long as you don't use the names of the dwarves. In the case of my show, I'm obviously not going to use Monica Kaname, Hamura Akemi, Sayaka Miki, Mami Tomo, Kyoko Sakurai, and Kyubei, or any other character I didn't make. Yeah, there's a reason why I'm phasing out characters that aren't mine on my channel. So me showing off Figment was more than likely a one-time thing, and he more than likely won't be used that much in the future, as I focus only on the original characters and my friends. Becky is like that, as she is not based on a real person, but rather an original character that I came up with. How come she
Cabeza de mierda! You said that you weren't gonna plagiarize anything, and you say you're gonna be having the series most similar to was Madoka Magica. I must reiterate, cabeza de mierda. You be kidding me? You said that you weren't gonna plagiarize anything, and yet you're gonna say it's gonna be most similar to Madoka Magica. Yeah, as I said before, it's similar to that, from the character to color palettes to the way the characters are going to fight witches and it's a magical girl show and everything like that. Okay, before I go all Rambo, I need to address something here. So bear with me for a sec. I understand that magical girl shows have been around for a long time, and what's more, they have had witches for so many shows that I can name at the top of my head. Anyone who's watched Magical Girl shows, you're listening to her right now. So, in other words, this show, yes, this show that you want to make is basically one hell of a ripoff, anyways, because you just said, Rebecca, that it would be plagiarism, and yet you're going to say it's similar to Madoka Magica. Either you didn't hear yourself or you're just really incoherent with your sentences. Because either way, I wouldn't have any idea what the hell you're trying to say at this point. And again, I don't have any problem with people doing original magical girl shows or any problem with anyone doing an original magical girl idea. But here's the thing, inspiration is the key, plagiarism is the wrong key. At least try to think of something clever. Oh, wait a minute, I forgot. I'm talking about to Rebecca. Never mind.
Didn't show any animation to your animation pitch. Animation is too expensive to even do as a pitch. Even then, I didn't think it was necessary for the trailer pitch. Is animation
Like seriously though, it's supposed to be an animated series, and yet you don't want to. You don't want to take it to an animation idea though. Yeah, way to disappoint your audience. You deserve another round of applause. You deserve another round of applause. Thank you so much for disappointing everybody.
expensive? Yes, it is. It depends on what you want. The higher the quality, the costlier it is.
No shit, Sherlock. I thought animation was $5. Thank you for telling me something that we already know. I hope you're proud. Yeah, in case you guys couldn't tell, I'm pissed off anyways. But I was gonna say something here. What was I gonna say? Like, I do get that animation is very expensive. I get that. Hell, you're looking at someone who watches a bunch of animated properties. And it's not just animation that's expensive. Even if you do a live action movie or whatever movie you want to do, though, of course it's going to require a lot of money. Again, do you think it's going to be $5? Oh, here's $5 for you. Why, thank you. Now your animation is free, though. Yes, I did it. What? I had to get my self conscious out there somehow.
Sometimes there is a format for the length of animation. This might not be the best example, but the verbalized animation of his character getting chased down by Charlie from Hazmat Hotel cost $50,000. You may think it's a ripoff or ridiculous since it's only 3 minutes long, but it's actually a normal price in the professionalism world. One frame of animation is generally $10. 1 second of animation is usually 24 frames. 24 times 10 is $240, 14,400. Multiply that by 3 and you get $43,200. This is why a lot of animation is done in South Korea, because they pay their animators at a 40% cost, meaning something like $4 per frame of animation. Now, that is not the case for everyone. Animators can charge whatever they want. One animator I am hiring for a future project of mine does $8 a second. The idea is that you need to charge at a price that is affordable. That way you're not bankrupt.
Cabeza de mierda.
Of course, most humans don't consider animation as an art form. If you want people to consider animation a medium and not a genre, then the first actual step is to pay your animators better.
Pay your animators better. Cabeza de mierda. Ay, caramba. Because you have to at least understand, if you don't pay your animators better, guess what, people? You're gonna be bankrupt. Rebecca, do you have some kind of memory loss because you've never paid anyone who worked for you during the making? Like, say, Dar or Wes or Grace or Maddie or anyone who worked for your unapologetic ass? And then you say things like you have to pay them and you have an animator to do it $8 per second? Fuck you!
A lot of animation has to deal with shortcuts. Things like characters standing in a room for seconds on end, or just bopping up and down because you don't see the actual leg movement. Even though humans do both.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought we all floated in midair. Why can't I float in midair?
And they move more than the actual still characters. It's also why a lot of times background characters are just black and white characters or just blobs, because it's to save animation budget.
Oh, gee. It's either that or they're taking too many
A
corners.
typical Family Guy episode, for example, is also like $1 million an episode, even though a lot of it goes into the writing and voice actors. Why not take
Oh my god. You may have your points, but still invalid. Ay, caramba. we're gonna be done with this shit. So bear with me because I'm just losing my fucking marbles more. I think I'm creating a flood with my brain cells. Please give me a charity for new brain cells, people. I need them, please.
Take your project idea to an actual animation studio, or at least gain experience. There are so many reasons in your questions why it's bad.
Yeah, I'm sure that's your question. And that's the same thing with a lot of these questions. At the top of my head, I can't help but ask, aren't these your questions, Rebecca? Aren't they? Because otherwise, I don't know who else would be asking them, unless it's your neighbor or your next door neighbor who asked some of these questions, which, let's be honest, he's a fucking puppet on strings for you. Or what Gravity's Falls would say, I ain't your puppet. And even with that said, he's your lapdog. He's parasocial. He's a lot of stuff. I could come with a bunch of words, but I won't for anyone's time's sake. I'm just saying there's probably a reason why so many people find parasocial in the word parasocial and find his picture in there.
Hell, every year it seems like an at least one reason to not join any animation company.
Then why would you want to create an animated series? And maybe I'm coming off of my ass when I say this though. I've always wanted to do something animated related for my writings, but then I realize I can't do it. So that's why I always write stories for myself. I'm no animator, I'm no professional, I'm an amateur. And with this amateur, for someone who has to critique things, that's just very, very sad. Lo siento, por favor.
What happens when you join is that you're instantly stripped your own copyright. The company in question can do whatever the fuck they want with your creation, and you won't ever have any control of your own work ever.
It really depends, though, because as far as I can gather, I could be wrong on this. Some animated projects either never got picked up or they just get shelved. It really depends. Even if you do find it online, because they do have the Lost Media Wiki and so many other things, I can at least say they can still get their work out there to show that. And if they create a petition, maybe they can get it out there. I don't know. I don't know how it works in the animation industry, so I'm just rambling a bunch of bullshit at this point.
I can bring up hundreds of examples.
Hundreds. Hmm. One, two, three. Oh, nope, nope, no, not 100. I think I counted 3 examples, even though you got them incoherent. What? Fuck it.
But let's just name 3 for now. Constant Pain was a show that was going to be a Nicktoon, but it was canceled due to one of the scenes looking like the 9/11 terrorist attacks, even though this came out half a year before said attacks. Despite this, Paramount still owns the copyright. Mika Wright, the creator of the series, cannot do anything with the series forever, even after over 20 years of it not being able to exist. Tom Warper, who wanted to make a sequel series to Kids Next Door, but Cartoon Network would not let him, even though over 90,000 people petitioned for Tom's show to be made. Last week, Paramount released a new show called The Tiger's Apprentice. According to one of the people that worked on it, they call it the 6 most miserable months of their life.
Let's see. Throughout the 4 years of production, the crew. Yep.
Lives. The film had half of its people laid off a week before Christmas 2019. The original people wanted to tell a good original story, but Paramount was all like, no, we just want to steal Spider-Verse's success by ripping it off. And they continued to abuse their staff for the next 4 years. Some staff got
Abuse. Abuse. Uh, she threw another piece of candy, and I didn't even ask for it. Man, I'm hungry.
special privileges, while others weren't even allowed vacations. They were still writing the film as late as fall 2023, and the film steals an asset from Raya and the Last Dragon. Going independent is way harder due to expense.
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure once you ask somebody, you're just gonna work their asses off until crack of dawn for everyone to get exhausted. Seriously, I think my brain just left me again.
But I at least get my freedom. As for my experience, I have animated for 6 months now myself, and I kind of learned that animation is too mind-numbing for me. So
Then don't do it. Simple. Don't do it if it's mind numbing for you. Even to the people who do art, which again I'm not going to name because I have a feeling I'm probably going to get keyhawed. I really think it's a safe bet, even if you did do artwork for yourself. Like, I've seen your artwork, Rebecca. It looks like fucking shit to me. And you're talking to someone who hates doing art, because I myself, I hate doing art for people. It gives me a panic attack. And what's more, my art looks like fucking shit compared to everything else I've done. That's why I always prefer writing, at least for myself. I do like other people's artworks. I could name throw it down my head, but again, I don't want to be keyhawed.
Well, having others to help me is going to be great.
It's gonna be great, huh? despite the fact you Despite the fact that you asked Wes to do an animatic for Mr. Enter's birthday about what, a week or so before his birthday, and once you asked Wes to do it, like, isn't Wes an amateur when it comes to art? Correct me if I'm wrong, but wasn't he already an amateur, and he's not really a professional? Plus, even if you do say an animatic, which I will admit sounds nice, though, you can't do it in a week. I don't know how long it takes to make an animatic, and frankly, I really can't say anyways, because I never done an animatic, and frankly, I never will. But I'm just saying, no. When you asked Wes to do an animatic for you, you wanted him to get it done in time for Enter's birthday, and what happened was it had to get dropped because of that. I mean, maybe I'm going off of key here, but I'm just saying.
If I donate, what would I get?
Nothing. You get nothing
Like, why are there no real rewards?
because nothing. You get nothing. Absolutely nothing. Nada. That piece of nada.
The worst thing that you could do with your campaign isn't fail, but rather promise false rewards. Things like Mighty Number 9, Oaxis, or Cams Without Labels. Even though they all made their budgets and goals, the results were mediocre and came out years too late. It's projects like these why I believe most people won't back me. Yeah, the odds of me actually getting to 25,000 are 0%. So that's why I don't want to give out false promises like, hey, give me this much and you're guaranteed a poster. I mean, I do have that at the 500 reward, but I'd rather be realistic and not lie. And being realistic often means being rude. Cutting to the point and be blunt. You never want to promise someone an award that you can't afford. And when you get caught, people are going to back you in the corner and you're going to be forced to run away. It's
You mean like you did almost a year ago?
why I didn't give full incentives, but I did at least give some things out. At $5, you get my thanks and thank you in the credits of the project once it's done. At $50, you get to be part of the thank you project, but your name will be bigger and flashier. And at $500, if I make enough money, you'll get custom posters of the show signed by me. How long?
Lame. 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 That spells lame. Let's take this in consideration, though. If you even did do something like that, though, here's the difference between those three you just mentioned. They did have faith in their projects, yes, but even if they were executed poorly, though, they still had a lot of things going for it. And okay, Cans Without Labels, yeah, I will admit it is shit, but at least it was animated and it had money for its shitty creator, of course, and so much other stuff. But that being said, however, what really got to me about that Cans Without Labels is that while John K is uh, really someone you don't want to interact with, especially for what's been happening, though, I still personally think that they had their projects while they were doomed, though at least they had faith in them and they had goals into them, though, as much as I and a lot of people have said it before now. But even taking that in, I think it's just me coming out of my ass when saying it, though. I feel like there was a lot of potential. They just never ran with the potential. That some people could have said, though. But I'm just rambling a bunch of shit that I feel like my head is starting to hurt more and more. Can I at least get an ice pack or something, guys? Thanks.
How long have you worked on this project
For 5 seconds. Okay, that's a shit move on my part.
for? It depends. I've been wanting to make an original animated series for all my life.
And you started plagiarizing. Yeah, come on, people. You know it's true.
This project here has been on my mind for 6 months.
6 months. I thought it was 6 seconds.
I've had ideas on animation projects for about 10 years, though.
10 years. 10 years. Oh, I'm about to destroy this witch.
Going on and on with different ideas all the time.
Yeah, I can relate to that. But at least I don't plagiarize.
I once made a series on
Oh my
DVR
god!
called Giantess Jobs. Basically, it was a series about 8 giantesses living in a city having adventures. I made a sequel series called Infinitiverse. Basically, a series about a woman who makes her own cartoons and then one day she gets trapped inside her own cartoons. I didn't like how either one turned out, and the last
Yes, the art was not that great. It was from 8 years ago. And I thought my art was shit. Oh my god, those are the worst drawings I have ever seen. I've seen better drawings from my second nephew, and that's sad. Can I have a check now, please?
ladder wasn't even completed. So if you try to go to DVR to find them, you're not gonna find them. I deleted the project.
Yeah, you deleted them, even though a lot of the stuff you had left behind were archived. Yeah, I know this video is archived. It obviously says so in the damn title, the fucking damn title. But Jesus Christ,
Although I did save some scripts, so if you really want to see the scripts, just ask me. I'll send it then. I finally narrowed it down to the idea of proving to the world that not all witches are evil.
they've done this numerous upon numerous of times before you got a hold of it. Did you watch Little Witch Academia, or did you forget about that? Did you watch, say, the Owl House, where they were overcoming a race? Or I'm just rambling a bunch of shit at this point, though.
Kind of based on my own experiences and some of the hurdles in life that I went through. I have more questions about the project.
I have a question. Why the fuck did I ever agree to watching this again?
Is there a way for me to ask them? Yes, there is. You can ask me right here on my YouTube channel or DM me on Twitter. And if you're on my Discord server, you can message me on there. Before I end this video, just a couple people to thank. Thank you, Raiden Baron, for giving me professional criticism on my project and helping me shape out this video. Thank you, Sage Froppy, for helping me get this far. Thank you, Emily Rocks and May Celia, for being the first people to donate. Thank you, Skylar Jones, for the editing of the trailer. And thank you, the Anime Freak, for designing the characters. Rebecca Starlight, out.
Oh my god. Oh boy, that was such a fucking trip to get to. Good god, where to begin with this? Well, suffice to say, I think you guys already know how I'm gonna react to this. But even taking that in, good god, this video was hard to get through. For someone who wants to make an animated series, and for somebody who claims that this is all going to be all well and made by the end, even with the plagiarism going inside of it, though, I can safely tell you this was doomed from the start, though. Rebecca clearly has no idea how to create an animated series, and even with that said, however, she still acted have said that this was going to be so easy to do, like to tying your shoes or whatnot. Although tying your shoes is less challenging than one may think, though. I guess what I'm trying to say here is that whether you find this project hopeful or not, it was already doomed to disaster. And let this be a lesson to you all. If you're going to create something, create it with inspiration, not plagiarism. There's a difference. If you're going to create something that you really have a passion for, make sure that it doesn't have everything copied into. You can still have inspiration from anime. That's something that's always been there. But the difference there is that inspiration does not come into Rebecca's vocabulary skills. I'm sure she's never learned them. But even taking that in, I'm sorry, guys. I didn't want to go on a tirade again, though, but watching this video again and again and again just made me feel like I was going through molten lava. It was that hard to get through. Hell, I had to go so far as to say that I almost passed out when doing this here video as well. And the reason why I'm doing this is not just because Rebecca's being Rebecca. No. The only reason why I did this is just because of how much of a person that she goes out saying that at one end and going out the other. Whether you find this video enjoyable or not is completely subjective. But if you want to spread this video around to know how others may think about it, though, then fine, you do you. But I must advise you, even if Rebecca did do something with this so called project that she wanted to do, I highly doubt it would work in the first place. And honestly, I can safely say her works speak volumes of what we have yet to accomplish, though. Now, with that said, I'm probably gonna have to do whatever I can to rest for the rest of the week, though. I mean, maybe I'll do a live stream next week because this week I'm going to be extremely busy. By the time I'm making this video, I'm going to say this right here and now. It's around to the time of at night that I started doing this video. And honestly, I wouldn't have it either way though. While I admit this is the video that honestly could have gave me a tumor because Rebecca has videos, if anything to judge by, have been doing this for God knows how long. I can briefly say this is just not very good. Aside from that, though, like I said before, if you're going to create something, whether it's artwork, originality for your own stuff, or anything like that, then suffice it to say, you need to do a little more than just that, though. You can still be inspired from stuff that you enjoy, but again, know what you're doing. Don't plagiarize anything, don't copy everything because you're just gonna get fresh out of line. Oh, but it gets better, people. Apparently, Rebecca got scammed when someone asked to make Monsters vs. Aliens 2 the movie, and for some reason scammed her over $1,700. Though, at least I think that's the amount that they were asking for, but still. But guess how much she actually got? Nowhere near $500 line. So you can definitely tell, yeah, this project was already doomed. And with that, I don't know if I'll be doing another Star Driver Productions video. This is the third video I've done on my channel, and while I admit I shouldn't be making fun of Rebecca for how stupid and dangerous this woman is, I think it's safe to say I really need to lay low from time to time, though. I guess that's all I have to say, though. Now, with that said, thank you all so much for watching. Hope you all stay safe, and hopefully, when I do another video, it'll probably chill me out, though. Now, with that said, as always, stay flamingo-tastic. See ya.